This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman and Riley Smith. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Thursday, July 14th, 2022. We're so glad you can join us. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I have more from our conversation yesterday in an interview with Landus President and CEO Matt Carstens. We just talked more on the Innovation Center, the journey on how they got to that point, and how it'll help them in the future. We also have a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the close of another day in the ag marketplace. Not too much going on today, but of course there's always news every day in the marketplace. So for a bit of analysis, we go to Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. Jacob, what's been going on today in the grains?
It's funny you said that, Riley. You said not much goes on. We had a 30-cent range in beans, and I said the same thing today. Well, not much going on. So that's the way this marketplace is right now. We're at levels of high volatility. You're seeing 30-cent ranges, and you shake it off like nothing happened. First of all, since export sales came out this morning, saw some cancellation in the old crop with China canceling. Right now, South American soybeans are less expensive, and that's what you're going to continue to see. So we started off with a push down. We actually went 10 to 12 cents higher at one point throughout the day. I think probably based on weather models, and then we ended up selling off here at the close. Some of this market, it can just be unexplainable, and you're gonna have to be something you live with because that's the way it is. The corn market, I would consider this a relatively strong close. Looks like we're going to sell this market above $6. And I think that's pivotal for you to catch any type of rally. I think the market is reluctant to really continue the downslide right now because we're in a time frame. You've got to think, we're at the middle of July. This is when we're supposed to be talking about weather every single day and hanging on every weather forecast. And I think we are in a way, but the macroeconomic picture is just really too big. You're seeing a lot of pressure from outside markets. I think Matt said it maybe on here in one of his articles that we could possibly see a market that has a production pullback and still see the market fall off a little bit just because you're taking some of this extra cash that's been thrown into the market, taking that out. And wheat, on the other hand, we're the cheapest wheat in the world, and still seeing a pullback in that wheat market. So I'm looking for some support in the wheat market, and I think that we're continued rumors of exportable wheat out of the Black Sea area, and that's going to be something that if that has any problems, I think we could catch a little bit of a pushback here.
And it's interesting that we're factoring in those export sales today, because is this really the time of year where we would be looking for super strong sales anyways?
Oh no, I mean, this is something that if it was looked at this morning is if we had an export program going on right now in the corn market, this thing could get really explosive. This is mostly processing bids, and we don't sell a whole lot of corn here at this point. We don't export a whole lot of beans at this point. It's mostly come in the fall. So I think that these export sales, accumulating these sales right now. If you go back and look at when did China start buying? Last year it was before this. So to see them not coming in to buy, if there is any type of surprise, I mean that was what the rumor was about last week. We thought they were buying corn and beans along with some of the wheat that they bought. So exports are always in the place that could affect the market. So that's something that we're looked at, and we just any type of demand situation that we can go to right now, I think would be good. Be a little bit supportive of it. This is something the time of the year we look mostly at the production side of things. But when China speaks, you listen.
All right. And what are we seeing on the other side of the marketplace in the livestock complex?
Well, the live cattle today were down about $1.50 across the board, $1.40 in the front months and $1.12 in the back months. feeder cattle took a break here today. That's been the marketplace that has been set up fundamentally, in my opinion, for with the cattle numbers that we have out there for a rally, and especially in these later fall months. But I think that this marketplace had a little bit of exhaustion right now. I'll be very curious to see when it comes to the end of the week here what kind of fund performance what we saw there in the feeder cattle, and even the live cattle as well. If they deem that this inflationary period in the funds is not totally over, and just continue to have mass commodity pullout, I think that you could see that market really rally with a little bit of help from there. I think the fundamentals are set up for it. So in the hog market, we're down 20 to 30 in the back months. That front month contract in August now is down about 90 cents. So I think that the pretty stagnant trade in the livestock, all in all, if you look at it from the big picture.
All right, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners who would like to learn more and get in touch with the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Well, it's a busy time of year, so we just encourage guys to give us a look on the website. First of all, on there you'll find an opportunity to sign up for our trial of our agmarket.net intel, and that'll get most of our information to you. You can reach me directly here at 608 in the southwest corner of Wisconsin at 608-384-5438.
All right, Jacob, it was great talking with you today, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks, Riley. Have a good day.
That again was Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers close. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. September corn is up 5 even at 6.05 even. December corn up 5 3/4 at 6.01 even. August soybeans down 13 even at 14.71 3/4. November soybeans down 8.5 at 13.41 even. August soybean meal up 170 at 438.90. Soy oil down 86 cents at 51.14. Chicago wheat is down 15 3/4 at 7.95 even. Minneapolis spring wheat down 2.5 at 9.11 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 13.5 at 8.48 3/4. And September oats up 5 even at 4.67 even. On the Merc, August live cattle are down 147 at 135.40. August feeders down 190 at 178.90. Lean hogs up 42 cents at 114.92. Pork cutout is down $1 at 113.62, and Class 3 milk down 9 cents at 22.63. And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I have more on our conversation from yesterday in an interview with Landus President and CEO Matt Carstens. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Well, yesterday we had coverage of the ribbon cutting and grand opening ceremony for Landus's new innovation connector in downtown Des Moines. Today we have more from that event as I talked with Landus President and CEO Matt Carstens. We just talked about the journey of how they got to that place. A bit of a surprise. They didn't think that maybe they would end up there, but it's all been working out for the best. And then how this facility will help in the future with getting that technology to farmers. Well, we are out here at the grand opening, the ribbon cutting ceremony for this innovation connector out here at the Landus facility in Des Moines. Great ceremony going on, lots of great things to talk about. So first off, let's just discuss this innovation connector and what it'll do for agriculture in Iowa.
Yeah, Riley, thanks for being here. It's a special day for Landus and all of our farmer owners and employees because this is really about changing the game. I thought Secretary Nag did a great job at setting the stage of change is what agriculture is about, right? And it's how we address that change that matters. And the key to this is getting the farmer back in the center, or maybe even at the center for the first time, of the topic of innovation, whether it's technologies, products, practices, services. There's so much going on and so much more that probably could be done. And it's time for agriculture to create an environment. I don't think of a better place than in the heart of our biggest populated area here, close to the airport, that allows our farmers to get pure access to some of the best minds that are out there and give that feedback and talk through what they're seeing, why they're seeing it, how it's important, and where we go from here. And if a farmer-owned cooperative is not the best place in Iowa to do that, I don't know who is. So we're going to take that chance and see how this goes.
Exactly, and I bet the first word that many people coming in here thought was, it's modern. It's modern. It's different from what we're used to seeing. And, like you guys were saying earlier, different is what we need. Change is what we need. So, how is this helping us embrace change, and what changes could we possibly see that come as a result of this innovation connector?
Well, I think the biggest change will be twofold. One is that piece of what is possible. And as farmers think about their investments today, a year from now, 5 years from now, they can think about things they've seen here or heard others talk about here, and they get to gravitate to what is important to them that they see at an event like this. So I think that piece of change and putting them again in that center to provide feedback and help them start adjusting things that they need to be doing for the future is step one. Step two is how we talk about the consumer and how we bring them into the discussion and start bridging to the future where a farmer and a consumer can really interact. It may not be as interactive as this is, but in a way where there's data and there's dialogue and there's a discussion that helps consumers and farmers come together in a way that really is about fuel and feed and food that's important in this journey that we're all in. This thing of a divide between the two just has to stop. We've got to find that path, and I think a place where we're talking about innovations, talking about things that help make that change is a good starting point.
Yeah, something I really liked from that panel discussion was it's not just education, it's a conversation. We can't just be one-sided and tell people what we think. They have to give that feedback back to us, and then we can all learn together and just grow together. So, how will we kind of continue those conversations through here? And, of course, with media, we're acutely aware of, sometimes that conversation can be a little tough to have.
Well, it can, but it is about that dialogue. But the dialogue starts with action, right? The action that was taken that creates a more transparent dialogue that's backed by data, backed by the results. This is where agriculture has to go, and I believe we're absolutely on a path as society to find that common ground with things like social media and media as a whole. We can do that, but it takes a co-op owned by farmers to go, we're going to do something different. We're going to try a different game here and see what the results are. I don't think this will be perfect. I think we got our own bumps and bruises to go through here, but our farmers, our employees, our board of directors has said, we're willing. We've got to try. And here we sit in a place to really make that change.
Yeah, let's touch on the location as well. We're in downtown Des Moines, have this agricultural facility. And like you said, not an area that you necessarily thought right away that you would end up in. So, how important is this location? We're in an urban setting, bringing agriculture to the people who might not know as much about it.
Yeah, it's funny, when my wife Shanda and I talked about would Des Moines be a possibility, then Mary Harrington and now Mary Dixon, I should say, and others came together and were like, this is possible. And the logic was really simple. To do this, you've got to make it accessible. Not just for all of our farmers, just putting a rural area on the map and going, that's what we're going to do, like we did a year ago in Ralston. Although that's a point and a dot on the map, there's no issue with that. But we also have to think about those that want to come here. 5 of the 10 or 12 or so partners here today flew in today and set up. Got on a commercial airplane, landed at the airport, and got here and made it happen. And that's a lot harder to do when you're 2-3 hours out in the middle of rural Iowa to go do that. So it was really powerful how it came, starting with a discussion with my wife Shanda to bringing in Mary and Molly Toot and coming down here to see it through the assistance of the city of Des Moines that actually gave us the confidence to say, I think this is possible. And for the right reasons, as they talk to folks like Apple or Google or Amazon and other groups like the corridor that's here for the agriculture community, all going, we can do this. We can come together and create something really special. So I think there's no better place, although I know I've got some of our farmer owners going, I'm not sure I'm quite bought in yet. As we've said, let's all suspend disbelief until you're down here. You have the opportunity to see this, be a part of it. We had a bunch of our employees here yesterday from one of our locations, and one of their most memorable comments to me was, it's not too hard to get here. I mean, it is 6-lane the whole way in. So it's not like you're having to drive downtown Des Moines in a one-way. Although you can see it from here, you don't have to really participate in that. It's easy to get here, and we took that into consideration when finding this location.
Right, and we know in agriculture that change can be a scary thing sometimes, and a lot of us, while we know that the old ways are good, those new ways, can bring a lot to the table as well. So what are some of the things that maybe we can expect, specifically from this innovation connector? I'm talking technology that we can see in there. We got plenty of great displays in there, lots of great partnerships. So, what could we see in the near future?
Well, I think the sky's the limit. I wouldn't be even doing it justice to try to guess what we'll see, because even coming out of Ralston and when we had this there, companies like Google, companies like different drone companies, there's so much opportunity out there. So what they should expect to see is a wide lens that ranges from technology to products, practices, services, covering the whole gamut. We want to make sure that a farmer can come here and see a wide lens and let them decide for their farming operation what's right, where they want to go, not tell them it's one set thing. And I get frustrated on this topic of carbon and sustainability as we all go right down the road of cover crops. Although I'll be the first to admit, cover crops are an important tool in that toolbox, but that may not fit for every farm. So we want to make sure we're giving them the widest lens of major companies that are now looking at agriculture in an interesting way, all the way through a startup that's going, we just need a chance. We need connect to farmers, help us find some funding, and those are things that Landus as the connector to our farmers and connecting to VCs, other companies like Midwest Growth Partners is here today. We want to make sure we're connecting everyone in this journey to be successful.
Right, so if someone wants to kind of learn more on how to use this connector and maybe take advantage of some of those opportunities that you are providing, how could they do that? Where would they start that search?
Yeah, I would say the first is to get on the website, and we'll have a link that directs them to a place where they can get involved. But this goes for community members, schools, going to Des Moines to see the Science Center, which is only blocks away. Even some of our companies like Principal Financial Group or Nationwide Insurance. We're all in this together. We're all a part of food, fuel, fiber, rural, urban. So we want to make sure we've got that access. So get on to the Google Landus Cooperative, and it'll take you to our website, and there'll be some linkage that we'll put on there to help people get in touch and how they can use this space.
All right, Matt. Well, it was great talking with you today. Awesome facility here, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward, and we look forward to covering more of the news that comes from this.
Well, thanks so much for you all being here. You're a big part of our agriculture community and what we do in ag, so particularly ag retail. So thank you.
That again was Landus President and CEO Matt Carstens. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. This morning, the temperatures felt pretty nice, and it was maybe along the lines of it could be a little cooler than we were expecting, but as the day's gone on, it's warmed up a bit. Right now we have 92 degrees here in Des Moines. So starting to get warmer, and that trend should likely continue into the rest of the week, unless you're in eastern Iowa, apparently, where they have a bit cooler temperatures. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see here from the National Weather Service, there's a touch of rain in the forecast. Today we'll have mostly fair skies and warmer temperatures, temps ranging from the upper 70s to upper 80s. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a chance for thunderstorms across the state. Lows overnight should range from the upper 60s to low 70s. Tomorrow there's a chance for storms in the morning and then mostly sunny after 1 p.m. Highs will be in the low 80s to low 90s. Looking at the affiliate weather map right now, as you can see for tomorrow, Cherokee will be sunny with a high of 92. Shenandoah should see storms turning into sunny skies and a high around 93. Des Moines, morning storms and afternoon sunshine with a high of 93. Albia, a chance for storms, then fair skies and 90. Waterloo, AM showers, afternoon sunshine, and a high of 88. And Clinton is much of the same, storms in the morning, sunny skies in the afternoon, and a high of 87. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure you check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our twice free daily market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. For Avery Haskell and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.